Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, they clearly don't want to leave our cows and milk alone. Yes guys, there was another upheaval literally recently. Okay, for all of you aware, right, the Agenda 2030, it's very soon approaching. We're about 5 years away from that. And the whole idea is, we already know, it's been clearly publicized. They don't want farmers, they don't want cows or any other animals. They want us to drink the Bill Gates maggot milk and things like this, and of course eat the lab-grown meat. But people are not happy because this is not what we want to do. But nonetheless, the agenda is proceeding and they seem to be doing everything possible, okay, to stop people eating meat and consuming dairy. Just have a look for the past couple of months when the whole saga started with the additive in our milk. And of course, a lot of people proceeded to buying a different and the local milks. Some people actually abandoned dairy altogether. And of course, some people are just continue drinking the same thing like nothing happened. But nonetheless, they keep pushing that agenda even further. So this is just purely my opinion, but it seems to be happening a little bit, but often. And it does kind of change people's views. Not all of us, but certain people. And I think little by little, okay, they are making people to convert to fit their agenda. Hopefully that makes sense. So nonetheless, right, literally the other day, the Gloucestershire County Council announced a scheme, and it's called Swaps in Seconds campaign. So generally, okay, they are talking about reducing yours and mine carbon footprint. And you think, okay, so what the suggestions were there? Things like, let's turn the TVs and other electrical appliances off the standby. Maybe consider not buying a new item of clothing, but maybe buy it secondhand and things like this. And in the end, of course, it just had to be penciled in there. So why don't you swap your real milk for a alternative milk? Just kind of there, after all things, you had secondhand clothing, standby, and milk. Just think about it for a second, okay? Just out of all those things that could also be added on, they think that the reducing our carbon footprint is by you not drinking a cow's milk. So you can imagine why the farmers got very, very upset, because to be fair, okay, the county council's job is really to kind of promote the local businesses. They help local businesses, not just to go and say, do you know what, people, stop buying the real milk and just trying to get yourself into the almond milk and other alternatives. And the whole, of course, the agenda is yes, the global warming, the global catastrophe. They keep using this word so many times, it is absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely sickening to hear the same thing applicable to the cows and milk. There's so much more going on in the world, so many things they are doing and other people doing that actually affects the carbon footprint and global warming, and yet they're still just bluntly targeting those two things, cows and milk. For goodness sake, just leave those things alone. And of course, their job is, when they come up with sort of nonsense like this, is trying to convert certain people's opinion into actually doing what they want them to do. And unfortunately, when they come up with the figures, as usual, guys, they interpret them totally wrong. And this is not the first time it's happened. When they're trying to achieve a desired effect, they put a bunch of figures in front of people, okay, and then they expect people to go, oh my God, makes so much, it's going to make so much difference, so let's start doing what they're asking us to do. But the fact is, the figures they put in front of you are actually totally wrong. So when the council came up with this scheme and actually put the figures in front for the CO2 produced by the cows in the country, he actually used the global figures of CO2 produced by the whole world rather than actually UK. So you can imagine, right? They deliberately made it sound like it's such a bad industry and the cows producing so much more in the UK. In fact, the figures were actually wrong. And if you compare the carbon footprint from the almond milk and the cow's milk, they are actually pretty much the same. And for all of you who think that the almond milk is so much more healthier, then I'm gonna burst your bubble in my next video when we're talking about the food exposed. Nonetheless, if you're lactose intolerant, this is absolutely fine, but unfortunately the almond milk is not that CO2 friendly, neither is that healthy. So nonetheless, guys, you can see why the farmers are there, and in fact everywhere, are getting upset, because every time something like this happens, it is so bluntly attacking the farmers, the meat and the dairy industry. And fortunately, because of the true figures came to light, the local council have to get a representative to come out and actually apologize for, first of all, misleading people with the figures, and secondly, apologizing for getting a message wrong to people. Because in fact, how it's been worded, they literally told people to stop buying the real cow's milk and start buying an alternative. But now, of course, yes, they apologized and they said this is not what they really had truly in mind. And again, would we really believe what they're saying? I certainly don't. When you come up with this sort of a scheme, okay, and then you put things like secondhand clothing, standby, and then a milk into the same basket, I don't like it and I don't trust it. Like I said earlier, I think this is one of those scenarios, guys, when they are doing little by little across the, well, for the next God knows how many years, things will be happening to that industry like they do already, but little bit at the time. You know, there's a say, slowly catch a monkey, okay, which means that you do things slowly, you eventually get there. And this is how it kind of looks like to me. They're slowly doing little bits of issues coming along or certain things like that, and you might think, well, yes, now they apologize, that kind of thing, and you might think that might not really have an effect on people, but I bet you bottom dollar there will be people, anytime something happens, like happened, as I said, with the additive, somebody would have changed their mind, people changed their behavior, and now this kind of thing came up. There will be a bunch of people, I don't know how many, but there will be some people that will think, okay, this is a good idea, let's change over. So there we are, guys, right? This is something I thought is worth bringing to your attention, because I think this is absolutely ridiculous that they're bringing us to that kind of stage for the local government. The trouble is, again, I'm thinking that, like it happens with pretty much a lot of things, one of them does it, then maybe somebody else will do this in terms of the governments, that the local government potentially could be pushing certain themes or schemes across. But nonetheless, guys, right, the main thing is, right, we need to keep supporting our farmers. We cannot let them do this to them constantly, because this is absolutely ridiculous. It's going to have a huge effect on ourselves as a consumers as well. So don't forget, Friday, which is tomorrow, these farmers are going to be going and parking their tractors in the car parks at the supermarkets for a couple of hours to show, obviously, to show their unhappiness with the current situation. So if you do go there, don't forget, maybe come and say hello and just encourage them and thank you them for doing what they do. So there we are, guys. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if not a subscriber, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.